Junior Pro Kart, our next race here then for you at Llandow, the penultimate heat before we start heading towards our finals. Christian Oblang will start on pole position. Alongside him, championship leader Maximus Shields. Harrison Johns and Seb Pereira share the second row with Reese Knight and Thomas Wilkins completing your sixth run in Junior Pro. Quick look at the live chat. James Fabricius has been on with just 3 comments. Go on, Oliver. Yes, Oliver. And yes, Oliver with a massive smiley face as his brother takes victory there in the third heat for our juniors for our mini Rotax class. And a quick look at the anything for our micros. We've had a penalty applied for 31 of Jack Hutchinson for a front fairing penalty, but nonetheless a good performance in that one from Hutchinson, being a little bit closer to the pack that time round. We're still waiting for full confirmation on minis because they've just come in. They'll still be down there in that scrutineering building that you can see behind the start line. Standing start then for our Junior Pro Kart. They'll get themselves into position on the grid. Shields on the left. Oblag, your pole sitter, on the outside in the red with the 76 on the top of his Nazio panel with the big opening at the front. Behind him, the 10 of Harrison Johns with Reese Knight behind as well in the 54. Just getting confirmation from the back of the grid that we are okay to go racing. Green flag is in the air. Marshall's going to move off the track before that one drops. And he does, and we're away and racing in Junior Pro Kart. Oblang cuts across Shields to take the early lead into the hook for the first time, with Pereira and Reese Knight slotting into 3rd and 4th respectively. Behind them, Tom Wilkins and Harrison Johns all slotting in as Shields has half a move down the inside of Christian Oblag into the left-hander at Surtees. Then we've got the right at McWerthers. Shields not close enough to put a move in on Oblag this time. Into the chicane at the back of the track, into the dell. The right-hander then as Diggers. The top 3 have moved away ever so slightly from the rest of the pack as they make that long run down into the heavy braking zone, and it is Max Shields then down the inside of Christian Oblag. Oblag's going to try and get the cut back with Pereira as well, trying to get himself involved down there. But it's Maximus Shields now leading the way as we see the upside down face of Josh East, which arguably, depending, going on in the live chat, arguably, which way is his face better, normal on or upside down? Max Shields and Christian Oblang with Sebastian Pereira, the top 3 moving away. Thomas Wilkins has found a way past Reese Knight and moves himself up into 4th place, with Knight down into 5th. John's sticking with them there in 5th place, right behind in the number 10 kart. Down the back straight they come then. Will Oblag do a similar move on Shields? He's not close enough down the back straight as they come into sight out of the commentary box window, and Shields has got a couple of kart lengths and half a second on Christian Oblag, with Sebastian Pereira right in the wheel tracks of the 76. Shields leads by half a second from Christian Oblag. Oblag's actually moved away ever so slightly from Sebastian Pereira, although Pereira does close up at certain parts of the track, but in the parts where it's running into the overtaking opportunities, I think Oblang's got enough on exit of corners, such as that one that they've just gone round there at Diggers, to run down the back straight and not have to defend too much from Sebastian Pereira. Pereira will close up throughout the lap, but then Oblang will have enough on him to not have to defend too much for a quarter of the way through this Junior Pro Kart 3rd heat. Oblang's taken a win so far. Shields taken a win as well. At the moment, it's going to be Max Shields on pole position for the final if he holds on to this victory. The rest of the field are making their way round the right-hander at McWhirter's. A very difficult corner. It invites you to turn in early, and that's why we've seen a lot of drivers on the inside, but then it tightens up. The problem is the quicker line is to go all the way around the outside and just clip the curb on the way through. But you're opening the door to everybody just to come down the inside of you there. So that's why everybody will, more often than not, take a much tighter line to the inside of that corner. Certainly if they're being followed by other carts, just to hold onto their on-track position. Oblag has moved away from Sebastian Pereira, but he's going with Max Shields at the front of this race. Shields with a 49.56, almost exactly the same time as Christian Oblag on the previous lap. They moved away at half a second though from Sebastian Pereira, who is in at the moment a fairly comfortable third place, but has had time taken out of him by Thomas Wilkins on that previous lap. Drivers making their way through Diggers and the Dell down at the bottom end of the track as the two leaders still nose to tail pretty much. The gap was half a second on that previous lap. It goes out fractionally this time, with Shields managing to eke a little bit more out of Christian Oblag. Thank you for everyone that is joining us. Please do get in touch via the live chat comments as well. Let us know where you're watching from, unless it's a swimming pool or a paddling pool, and then I'll be incredibly jealous because it's very, very warm here in South Wales. Certainly too warm to be wearing a race suit and a helmet for some of these drivers, particularly Max Shields, who's leading the way because he's pulling double duties, as is Harris Roberts. So he's, not only is he out in his junior pro, he's out in the Rotax as well. We saw him out for Heat 3 earlier on. Roberts doing the same, but in the 2 cadet classes. He's doing it in Honda Cadet and in Micro Max. Down the back straight they go then. We're ahead, just cleared half race distance, but we do have that 1 lap addition as well to add on at the end. And Oblang is closing in there. This is slightly on Max Shields. Looked like Shields went a little bit wide into the hook, and Oblag closed in as he does so again on the brakes, but Shields will get on the power earlier and has a look over the shoulder. Oblag still there, as he will be, I can assure you, for the rest of this race meeting, because these two will, if things stay as they are, will start the final from pole position, although this time it will be Shields on the pole berth rather than Oblag as it was at the start of this race. Down the back straight they go, down hanger towards Raymond's, and Christian Oblag is a lot closer to Max Shields in the slipstream. The gap was 3.5 last time. It's down to 2.5 this time, so he takes the 10th out of him. Still with 4 minutes remaining. We saw Oblang was able to take a much tighter line through the hook last time than Shields, so he's potentially just got them tyres in terms of pressure geared up much more towards the end of this race, as Thomas Wilkins has reeled in Sebastian Pereira. Pereira dropping away from this leading duo now, 3 seconds back. Wilkins is right behind him as they head towards the right-hander at Chandler's. We've got Oblag right on the back of Max Shields into the heavy braking zone of the Dell. Is Oblang going to be close enough down the back straight to consider popping out of the slipstream on Max Shields? Shields, I think, has got a kart length on him, which is enough to hold on without having to defend too much. There in the background is that battle between Pereira and Thomas Wilkins. They are closing in on each other. Wilkins takes another 10th out of Sebastian Pereira. There they are flashing through the camera. So anything that Wilkins can do, he closes right up on the way out of there. Now Junior Pro Kart running on a fixed gearing, so not having to sort out anything in terms of the gearing. And Wilkins is through on Sebastian Pereira. It looks like he's managed to sweep round the outside down the straight as they headed down towards the Dell. Moves through into 3rd place. Pereira then down into 4th. Is there anything he can do about Tom Wilkins, who now running in 3rd? And that 7 kart bouncing over the curbs, takes a slightly wider line through the hook, but that also means he can get on the power a little bit sooner. Doesn't look like Pereira's been dropped though here, and he's managed to stick with two leaders are still only 2/10 apart, so there we'll keep an eye on them as Pereira endeavours to try and get back past Wilkins, and he's close enough through Diggers to potentially get a run down this back straight. There he is in the slipstream. Will he pop out towards the end of the straight? And he does on Tom Wilkins, but then has to go back to the inside and relent. Wilkins moves his way through. There we see Harrison Johns in the 10 coming through. He's in 6th place behind Reese Knight. 1 minute and 20 remaining. Your two leaders still nose to tail as they have been for much of this race. 2/10 of a second between Max Shields and Christian Oblag. And then behind there we see Wilkins flashing through, still under pressure now from Sebastian Pereira, who's managing to stick with Wilkins since Wilkins got through. Down the back straight they come then with 1 minute and 12 remaining. This time Pereira does get to the inside of Wilkins. Hard on the brakes from Sebastian Pereira. Wilkins will try and get the cut back, and they will be side by side over start finish. Wilkins is going to have track position for the inside, and he holds on as Christian Oblag has found a way past Maximus Shields. Shields is going to try and get back to the inside down there at Surtees, and they're going to be side by side mid-corner. Oblag, though, is going to have track position for McWerthers. He's going to have to try and slow this one down because Shields is going to come to the inside. Bouncing over the curbs, Max Shields, Christian Oblang's on the outside. They're still side by side as they head out onto the bomber straight, and Shields is back through and into the lead. Now, is there anything Oblag can do on Shields? He's already shown his hand once to come through on Max Shields. 30 seconds remaining, so it's going to be 2 laps here at Llandow in this Junior Pro Kart third heat, although the last lap board does come out. Don't know whether Shields saw it or whether he'll drive this like it is the last lap. I'm not sure, because it did come out just as he crossed the line. He's gone very, very defensive, though, into Surtees, so I'm sure he must know that it is. Gets a good run out of McWerthers. Look over the shoulder, goes tight to the inside. Oblang not close enough. It's going to be a last lap move down into Raymond's as Shields comes to the inside to defend off any sort of move into the dell, which isn't the most common overtaking opportunity anyway. Onto the back straight they come. Shields comes to the inside. Oblag's going to have to try and run all the way around the outside and get the cut back. Is he on Max Shields? Can he get the power down early enough? He draws alongside, but Shields will hold on to take victory in heat number 3 from Christian Oblag. Behind them, Pereira gets past Wilkins on the final lap to wrestle third back after Wilkins had done well to close that gap back right up and move past Sebastian Pereira in the middle phase of that race. Reese Knight and Harrison Johns finish in 5th and 6th place respectively.